Okay, so here we go, some actual gameplay. Before I do that though, I'm going to bring up Dwarf Therapist again. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Connect to DF. There you go, you can see all of the dwarves that I have. All of the blue boxes are the skills that they have that they are going to be using. And the little white dots in the center, if I turn it off it becomes a black dot, is the level of that skill. That little box will get bigger as they gain more skill. Basically, I have it set so that as new waves of migrations come in, it'll separate them, so I can look at them, I can see what skills they have, and I can say I want this guy. That's actually a chick. If I want this woman to be, well, female dwarf, to say be a gem cutter. Actually, let's actually change one of these. This guy only has gem cutting. Again, also a girl. We want them to have gem setting as well, so we click on gem setting. Now they have both. Then you hit commit changes. There, now it's transferred that into the game. You don't have to dig into the horrible job management interface in the game. That's basically what this is for. That's basically how you can also use it to look at the skills they have militarily. Like this guy is a good siege engineer. This person has a bit of skill as an axe dwarf. And you can look at social, like this one has some appraising skill, judge of intent, and negotiator. They're going to be our, the broker, the person who handles trading. They're also a miner. Once you're done with the initial mining, you don't use miners nearly as much unless you're doing some kind of major project. So it's good to have them as your broker. Alright, back to the game. As you can see, you have it paused. It starts pause. First thing you want to do is hit U to bring up the unit screen. You can see the dwarves that you have here. This guy's already going to grab his equipment. You can see the pets you have with us are war dogs, and you always start with 2 pack animals that pulled your cart. Others, you can see here we've got some fish. That's why it's all in blue. A pike, a couple of long-nosed gars, a couple of sturgeons, and nobody's gone missing or died yet. The year is still young. You will lose in this game. You will die, and usually in hilarious ways. Before we unpause anything, I'm going to start by giving them some jobs to do. I've decided, after looking around here, that this looks like a good spot to build an entrance. It's really the only part of the map that sticks out far enough for me to do the entrance I like to do, other than maybe down here, but I don't want to run across the river because it's pretty deep. Also, I should mention that the little 7s in the center of the river indicate that it's a 7-depth river. There's different depths of water, and the numbers, if it says 7, it's probably going to be over their dwarf's head, and they probably can't swim just because they're dwarves and they're kind of dumb. So we're going to avoid crossing that till we can build a bridge across it. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to build the standard entrance that I build. So what you do is designate an area for mining. So you hit D to bring up the designations menu. And as you can see right here, you've got all the different things you can do. I'm going to hit D again because I want them to do a mining. And you have a little yellow X, our familiar little yellow X. So I'm going to start right here, hit enter, and it places a little blinking spot down there. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to go this way a ways, a little bit past this little thing, because I'm going to make a turn here, and I'll explain that as I go. We'll go right to here, and you can see it's designated that little area for mining. I'm actually going to go up one more, and then I'm going to go over. Actually, let's go up 2 more. And then we've got a little turn here, and what I'll end up doing once I have everything set up, I'm going to chain up some war dogs here for if enemies get past the row of traps I usually build, they'll be attacked by the war dogs, and the war dogs will help detect any thieves that try and come in. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to go down. So we're still in the designate menu, and we want a downward stairway, which is J. So we hit J. We plot out a little downward stairway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the downward caret, which is shift and period. It goes down a level. You can do shift and comma to go back up. It's the standard thing for stairs in most games that use symbols for their things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and build an upward stairway in the same place that I built the downward stairway. That way the dwarves will build stairs going back up and won't get stuck down there. And then we're going to go back to the dig menu, and we're going to actually dig out a fairly long pathway to about here. And why I do that is because I like to do a second set of traps, or if you get assaulted and you have nothing better to do, you can build a quick wall right here. But then we're going to go down one more time. So, crap, forgot which button it is. J for a downward stairway, and we're going to build another set of stairs. Go down and build an upward stairway. There we go. And it matches up. And then go back up. Let's look what's on top of this hill. Some more stuff. Okay, you can actually get out of that. Scroll back over here, and what else we're going to do, since we're not going to be doing our entrance over here, we're going to actually do some designations over here where we designate T, which is chopping down trees, and we're going to do a wide swath of trees to have chopped down. Just kind of go kind of near the entrance. That'll give our carpenter something to do and give us a nice little stock of wood to start out with. Then we also want to hit P to gather plants and basically do the same area. This will get us some above ground plants that we can use to make beer. Your dwarves don't really drink a whole lot of water, but they do drink beer. And you can make beer or wine or anything else out of all these above ground plants. And the seeds can be used when we eventually get around to building an above ground farm. The plants we brought with us only grow underground. These plants only grow above ground. This is how the things work. I think that's all we're going to do for now. So we'll swing back over to the dwarves and we'll hit the spacebar to resume, and you'll get to see everybody scattered and run off in various different directions. There they go. Off they go. You got our fishermen over here doing some fishing. Got a couple dwarves over here chopping down wood and gathering plants. And here goes our miners digging into the soil. It's nice that it's soil on the surface because as low-level miners, they don't dig very fast. Oh, you can see down here we got a skunk just wandering around. Your dwarves will generally run away from any wildlife. I think that's a skunk. You can hit K and bring your little arrow over it. It's a skunk. And you can hit Enter and get some details on it. It's capable of spraying a stinking fluid. Lovely. Let's not go near him. But nice thing is these dwarves will dig through here very quickly. And dwarves don't like being above ground. They much prefer to be below ground if at all possible. They dig so randomly. They left like 6 blocks up here and then they're going to go down here. What is this that we're digging through? This would appear to be sand, which is good if this is what I think it is. Yeah, it's sand. You can use sand to make glass, which is very, very handy to have. I'm really hoping that the next layer down is still dirt, because if it's not dirt, then I would need to flood where I want to have a farm. It would appear that it is. It is fire clay, even better. Clay is something else we can use a lot of. So what I'm going to do here is dig out a farming and work area for early on. So what we're going to do is hit designate and just kind of plot out. Oh crap. I forgot, you can't, if you dig underneath one of these areas here that are water, it'll stop, because the dwarves are somewhat smart and won't flood their caverns unless you do something dumb like I tend to do. But for the most part, they won't flood them unless you force them to. Alright, this should be enough. We're actually going to just have the stairs in the middle of nothing here. Yeah. And then you can move one at a time, and then if you hold down Shift, it'll move it more. I think it's 10 tiles or 5 tiles at once. But this will work. And we can just kind of grab this last little bit here. Oops, too far. Make sure we're not underneath. We are underneath something. We'll come back this way. That should be good. Bam, there we go. Dwarves will come down and mine that out. How's the wood cutting? You can see the little piles of wood from each tree they've cut down. While the miners are clearing all that out so we can start building stuff, we're going to hit the Z button, which is something you'll be using a lot. It's the status screen. You can see how many of each... Well, these are just kind of the names that they give each of the dwarves. They have more skills than just... The miners have more than just mining. But the important thing is food stores. The little question mark next to it means you don't have somebody with the... you don't have a bookkeeper keeping track of everything. And once we get a place set up down in the mines, we will be able to do that. And you'll want to have a pretty good idea of what you have on hand, because running out of alcohol is a very bad thing for dwarves. It makes them upset. One thing you can see is up here at the top you have these listings. Animals is highlighted now. It's kind of hard to see because of how the colors are, but you can go and look. You can go into animals and you can see that we have this, and you can set it to be available, which means the dwarf can adopt it as a pet, or you can hit B to mark it for slaughter. We don't have a butcher right now, so no one's gonna be able to butcher them, so it won't happen. You can go into the kitchen. One of the things I like to do in the kitchen menu is change it so that they won't cook your seeds, which it starts out with, but I also don't want them to cook our brews. You hit C to change that. As you get more things show up in here. But I will let them cook cow meat and mussels and all that. They'll only cook food if you have a kitchen and you tell them to start making meals, and they'll grab a random selection of ingredients, but we don't want them cooking up the alcohol, because the alcohol is, well, until we get an overflow of alcohol, we want to save what we have for them to drink, because dwarves run on alcohol. Stone it lists all the different stones that there are and whether or not they can be used for crafts and things like that. Mostly you don't need to touch this. Stocks is the screen you'll spend a lot of time on. As you can see, a lot of it is either none or it has the question mark. But like, say, raw fish, you can see over here that we have 1 raw mussel and 3 steelhead trout that have been caught by our fishermen. Once we have a bookkeeper, we'll be able to see all the different things that we have in there, and it's good to be able to keep track of everything that you have. Alright, enough of that. Sorry, my video had a bit of a hitch there. I think we have... No, the way miners dig is they dig a tile, they pick a random tile that they can reach, and then from there on they go to a tile that they can reach from that spot. So they dig rather oddly, and they end up making these weird patterns. This will take a while. And we don't have any stone yet because I haven't dug down far enough, so I can't make a trade depot. Jeez, this guy's got... Is this all the fish that he's caught? He's just yeah, he's just throwing them on the shore. That's handy. We really need to get the storage room set up so that we can get all that stuff downstairs. Left long enough out here, it will rot. And it appears we have some buzzards of some kind. Or are those crows? I think those are crows flying around. Groups of animals do a weird conga line thing. I don't know why they do it. Yeah, there they go. They're leaving us alone. Our woodcutter is quickly cutting down as much wood as he can. It looks like we've gathered a few plants. I don't know. we're actually going to check and see that we have somebody with plant gathering set up. It is plant gathering. We don't. So we're going to give it to the guy who does our brewing. Bam. And now he'll run over and start gathering plants. The little down blue arrow you see on this dwarf right here, that means he's thirsty. You'll see blue arrows when they're thirsty. You'll see brown arrows when they're hungry, I believe. A whitish gray arrow when they're tired and they need to sleep. A red arrow when they're really, really angry and about to throw a tantrum. Tantrums are something you'll learn to fear because they can kind of spread through your fortress when one dwarf gets mad, punches another dwarf, which causes that dwarf to kick someone's baby or murder their dog, and it's what's known as a tantrum spiral. That's usually the death of a fort. Oh, and it's raining. Lovely. Dwarfs hate water. God, are both my miners slacking off now? Oh, we're actually making some progress down here. Okay. Once we get... I'm actually going to build in this tiny little corner over here. Right there. I'm going to build a carpenter's workshop in order to, actually start producing things. So, we hit B for the build menu. You can see this huge list of things over here. I should explain. Go back here. You can see all the different stuff here, like D for designations, which is where we found the mining and the making stairways and all that. And then what we want to do is we want to build something. So we go into building, and we want workshops, which is right here, which is a W. You can also use the arrow key, not the arrow keys, the plus and minus keys. If you look right down here, you can kind of see it says plus or minus. But I'd like to use the keyboard shortcuts because it's faster, and I've kind of learned them over time. Hit W, and you've got all these different workshops you can build. We're going to build a carpenter's workshop right here. We're going to put that right here in the corner. You want to make sure that you have access to it from at least one side. So we're building that there. Oh, we don't have any stone yet. What the hell? We'll use some logs to build this. I don't like building flammable stuff, but we'll build it out of logs because it's a carpenter's workshop. Why not? And now some industrious dwarf will come running down here, and they will build that for us. Actually, let me pause this. Who do I have that does the building has to be designed first, and the guy who does it is our stone detailer anyway, so we'll be alright. If you hit U, you can see what jobs everybody's doing. This guy is doing no job, but he still hasn't come down here yet. He is hanging out by the cart, I guess? Let's see here. Oh, he's coming. He's coming bringing some wood. There we go. That's what we were waiting for the woodcrafter to build because it's made out of wood. I'm used to everything being built out of stone. One thing I will need to do very soon is dig down and find some stone, because you can't. They're dwarves. They need rocks. If I remember correctly, we built this with a lot of soil. So actually, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to designate some downward stairways down over here in this corner. And then I'm going to go down, but I'm going to do an up-down stairway so that it goes both directions. Oops. Okay, right here. And then we can go down one more level. One more. And eventually they will get bored of digging these and they will dig down, and if we find stone, then we're in business. And we'll be able to actually build some things out of stone. This is going to be like my main storage area, and what will end up happening is my living areas will be in stone, because you tend to want to make your living areas out of stone, specifically because you can smooth the walls and do engravings on the walls, which the dwarves like a lot more than just having like dirt as their walls. And it appears we have some sand here, more clay. Oh, we've hit tetrahedrite, which I believe is copper? I'm not sure. And down below, yeah, so we've got, let me look here. What kind of wall do we have here? This is a gabbro wall, so we actually have some stone here. But then down here we've got tetrahedrite, which I believe is copper. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. But since we've hit stone here, I'm going to designate them to mine out a good chunk of hallway. That will be the basis for our fort. And it'll also give us some rock to work with. As you can see, the on the stairs, which are listed as X's because they're up and down, you can see these little rocks. Those are boulders that we can use to build things. The more experienced a miner is, the more rocks they leave behind. They clutter things up, but they're useful. Yeah, see, you can see he's leaving quite a few rocks behind. So now we can use those rocks. Go back up. Hit B, W, and we want a mason's workshop. A mason's workshop you use to make things like tables and chairs out of stone. Basically anything out of stone that isn't a like artsy craftsy kind of thing. And we're going to use gabbro. There we go. And we are also going, well, the way they're digging this out is irritating me, but we're going to make a craftsdwarf's workshop right here. Right there. That works. I forgot to mention, you can actually move up and down here and select different items. I want gabbro because it's the only rock we have. What else do I want to build right now? That'll be good for now. This is just some very basic things. Also, we'll go back up to the surface now. And we will build. Over here you see Trade Depot. It's a capital D, so we'll hit Shift and D. We want that right here, somewhere close to the entrance, because this is where all the trading will be done. Go down, we want gabbro. It takes 3 of these. And you can see all the parts waiting here for someone to build it. Meanwhile, our mason's going down here, going down the stairs, grabbing a rock, going back up. We've got 2 guys carrying rocks. Rocks are heavy, so they move a little slower. And there's our craftsdwarf's workshop. And there's our masonry workshop. Alright. And you can see down here, oh, it looks like we found some kind of gem right here. That's what this symbol usually means. I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to say that. They're carrying the rocks up as soon as he makes his way over to the stairs. As dwarfs do more jobs, they get stronger, so they're able to move faster while carrying a load. If they gain strength. Some jobs don't give them strength, clearly. But here he goes. You can hit T to see what materials are the. Well, once a thing is done, but this one needs an architect, which is the guy who's bringing the stones this time. One reason you would use different stones is if you want it to be a specific color, because there's some stones that are very pretty blue color, or there's some red stones and various things like that. This one's going to be just gray. It's going to be kind of boring. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have just because of the way this is looking, it looks like we're going to have a lot of very boring gray stones in our area. Maybe some white. What is that? Let's look and see. Chalk. Ooh, excellent. That is our flux stone. So if we can find some iron ore of some kind, either magnetite or one of the other ones, we will be able to turn that into pig iron and turn the pig iron into steel. Steel being one of the best weapon materials that you can get outside of spoilers that I won't spoil here. As you can see, here's a dwarf right here. I paused it. He's sleeping on the ground in the rain. He's not a happy dwarf. They want to be inside. A dwarf is happy if he never has to see outside. As soon as I can get a meeting area built, I'm going to get all these dwarves in out of the rain where they're going to be happy. I don't know if this is the second or third stone he's bringing here. I'm hoping it's the third one so we can watch this depot get built. Is that number 3? Looks like it. He's building. Is he building? No, he's falling asleep. Never mind. How's our dwarves oh, look at all this space we have. That's amazing. Let's build some more stuff. Let's build a workshop. Let's build a still so we can make some more beer. Let's plonk that right there. Let's use Gabbro. Let's also make a kitchen, which is Z, I believe. Kitchen, yes. And we'll make that also out of Gabbro. What else should we make? Jeweler's workshop. That's right, we have a jeweler. Put that right there. We're also going to make, let's hit escape and back out of this. And we're going to make a farm plot right here, which is P. And you can see right up here, if you go somewhere where you can't do it, it's blocked. There's no mud or soil, and mud is left by water. If you go on regular soil like this, you don't need to water it, as odd as that sounds. Right now it's just an X. What you want to do is hit U and K until you get the farm the size that you want it. We're going to actually get it as big as we can. And plonk it right in this corner. Now a dwarf will come over and till that until it stops blinking, and then we can go in and set it to what we want to have planted. One thing we're going to do in the meantime is hit Q. Q is the query tool, and we are going to go over to this carpenter's workshop. No? Yeah, we want to do that. And that has a little menu here. You can add a task, and we're going to make a bed, which is B. You can see it right here. And we're going to add another task, make another bed, another bed, another bed. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. A bed for everybody. And then hit escape to get out of that. Oh, here comes our dwarf to till the fields. You only ever have to till them once. But we're going to have those beds handy for when we build bedrooms down here. Q is your basic go-to tool to set jobs in various different shops and buildings. I think our depot has probably been built while we haven't been watching. Yep, here it is. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Our gray depot. Now, when the dwarven traders show up in the fall, they will bring their carts and they will park them right here, and we can bring our crafts over to trade with them. We don't have any crafts yet. There we go, our farm is built. Now we hit Q. And right now it is still spring, I believe. Yeah. And you can set between the 4 different things. The only thing we brought with us is cave wheat and plump helmets. So we're going to set it to do plump helmets. And you hit B for summer. And we're going to grow cave wheat in the summer. Then we're going to hit C. We're going to go plump helmets. No, we're going to go cave wheat again. Because in D, in winter, you can only do dimple cups and plump helmets. And we don't have the dimple cups. So plump helmets. Then we'll hit escape. And some farmer dwarf will grab some seeds and cart them over here, and he will plant them. I'm guessing it's this guy right here. This guy right here who looks to be a bit thirsty. He's probably going to get a drink first. But he will grab some plump helmet seeds and he will run down there and start planting them. Yeah, he's getting a big old drink of something. How much do we have left? We have approximately 60 drinks left. It's not bad. With 7 dwarfs, it's no big deal. Oh, and it would appear that he has grabbed some seeds and he's heading back down now. If he hit you, you can see he's constructing a building. Oh, he's probably building the kitchen or the still that we told them to build. They select their own jobs, what they want to do. So, once these dwarves clear out a bit more space, I'm going to set up some stockpiles. But that will probably be in the next video. I hope this was somewhat useful for you. And I'll see you next time.